Prince William is reportedly formulating a plan to finally strip Prince Harry and Meghan Markle of their HRH titles. Riley Sullivan is a lifestyle reporter here at skynews.com.au, and he's always across the latest celebrity headlines.
In a historic move that has sent shockwaves through the British monarchy and beyond, the House of Lords has launched a formal petition to strip Meghan Markle, the Duchess of Sussex, of every royal title she holds. What began as whispers in the hallowed corridors of Westminster has erupted into a thunderous legislative motion, marking the first time since the Sussexes' dramatic exit from royal duties dubbed Megxit that the British aristocracy has declared open war on Meghan. This isn't a tabloid rumor or a fleeting social media storm.
Still using her HRH title despite agreeing to drop the title when the Sussexes left royal duties. How is Will planning to deal with this?
It's a real legislative action tabled in the oldest democratic chamber in the world, the House of Lords, on May 22, 2025, for Meghan, who has built a global brand on the foundation of her royal status. This petition threatens to unravel everything she thought she could keep. The petition, spearheaded by crossbench peer Lord Simon Lee and backed by both Conservative and Labour peers, is unprecedented in its scope and severity. It cites specific causes for the proposed title removal, repeated breaches of diplomatic protocol.
Meghan Markle has been very brazen recently with the use of the HRH. Now, royal fans will know in 2020, during the negotiations for Harry and Meghan to leave royal duties, it was agreed with Queen Elizabeth that they will not use the HRH title. That is a long-standing precedent, and there's good reason for it. Basically, the HRH is only given to working royals.
Public mockery of royal status and the blatant exploitation of a royal title for commercial gain. The language is stark, accusing Meghan of diminishing the sovereign dignity of a title bestowed in trust. This isn't a family feud anymore, it's a matter of law, legislative sovereignty, and the very integrity of the British monarchy. As one insider close to the Prince of Wales told the Daily Beast, the fact that she's continued to use the HRH title, despite clear instructions not to, is absolutely infuriating at Buckingham Palace. The House of Lords is stepping in where the royal family has hesitated.
So the fact that she's continued to use this HRH when they've been instructed not to, I think is absolutely infuriating in Buckingham Palace. And there was a very interesting source inside close to the Prince of Wales who spoke to the Daily Beast,
aiming to enforce consequences that could redefine the Sussexes' place in history. The seeds of this seismic action were sown not with a scandal or a tabloid leak, but with a whisper quiet discontent that began rolling through Westminster earlier this year. Royal fans will recall that in 2020, during the negotiations for Harry and Meghan to step back from royal duties, it was agreed with Queen Elizabeth II that they would no longer use their HRH titles. This was a long-standing precedent with good reason. The HRH designation is reserved exclusively for working royals who actively represent the crown. Yet Meghan has been brazen in her defiance, continuing to use the title in public appearances, media ventures, and even casual conversations. A viral video from Beyoncé's Cowboy Carter concert in Los Angeles in March 2025 captured Meghan laughing and shouting, "You know I'm Sussex now," to the crowd, while later telling Mindy Kaling on her podcast With Love, Meghan to call her Meghan Sussex. To many, it seemed like an off-the-cuff joke, but to the House of Lords, it was the final straw, crass trivialization of a sovereign designation that confirmed Meghan sees her Duchess title as a branding gimmick. What finally pushed the Lords into action was the Sussexes' recent unofficial royal tour of Nigeria in early May 2025. Meghan and Harry paraded through events dressed in traditional Nigerian regalia, hosted by high-ranking military and government officials, all under the guise of a private cultural trip. But make no mistake, this was a royal tour in everything but name. From photo ops with generals to speeches about representing British heritage, the Sussexes acted as if they were still full-time royals on crown duty.
Changed my mind on things, but I don't want them to be stripped of it, but I think I now understand they're trying to do, I think that would really be validated if they said, this institution isn't for us. we love our family, but we would like to hand these back. And I think that would be incredible.
Whitehall was livid. Government officials were blindsided, with both the Foreign Office and Buckingham Palace neither informed nor consulted. The House of Lords cited the Nigeria trip as unauthorized diplomatic posturing that jeopardized the Crown's neutrality abroad, arguing that such actions risk international confusion over British foreign policy. By holding private meetings with military chiefs and giving speeches while using her Duchess title, Meghan blurred the line between personal advocacy and diplomatic representation, a move that the Lords say erodes the monarchy's constitutional role as a neutral head of state. The petition doesn't stop at the Nigeria tour. It lays out a litany of charges that paint a damning picture of Meghan's conduct since leaving the royal family. One of the most serious accusations is her repeated breaches of royal communications protocol, a centuries-old code designed to prevent royals from making unauthorized statements, especially abroad.
Life, they've moved to America, they've got their house, they've got their kids over there, so they're not really part of our
I don't think it's even that they don't deserve it, it's just they don't want to live it.
Yeah, they're saying more authentic, because I think it is authentic, but you can't say all of that and then keep those titles.
I mean,
so
if you don't want to live it, then what's the point?
It will make
Meghan's podcast Archetypes, for instance, is listed by name in the Lords' debate. In it, she regularly referenced her time as a royal to promote private ventures, made unverified claims about the royal family's treatment of her children, discussed her mental health struggles, and even accused an unnamed royal of racism. While the palace has long refused to comment, Parliament is under no such obligation. The Lords argue that these statements, made while still holding the Duchess of Sussex title, caused diplomatic embarrassment and harmed the monarchy's reputation across the Commonwealth. This isn't about free speech, the petition states. This is about using a title of royal privilege to level personal attacks against an institution that can't respond. The petition also slams what it calls the blatant commercialization of a sovereign title. Meghan and Harry's deals with Spotify and Netflix weren't merely content deals, they were marketed, packaged, and sold under the Sussex brand. The 2020 to Netflix docuseries Harry and Meghan opened with the line "The Duke and Duchess of Sussex present," using royal fonts no less. The couple even attempted to trademark Arkewell and Sussex Royal as global brands.
Think of her as an actress. And I remember when I was in a relationship years ago, everything I did and said, whether I cried, whether I joked, this boyfriend of mine would say, well, you're an actress.
As if you were fake.
So I think as if it was fake. So I feel that she's also a bit awkward and watching everything.
Only backing down after Queen Elizabeth personally intervened to block the use of royal in merchandising. The House of Lords refers to these acts as unauthorized commercial exploitation of noble status, which they argue constitutes grounds for legislative removal of her title. To put it plainly, Meghan turned royalty into reality TV and Parliament. Notice that another charge accuses Meghan of turning a noble title into a tabloid punchline. The petition references her constant press appearances, paparazzi chases, and the infamous car chase claim in New York in 2023, which the NYPD later described as exaggerated. Meghan and Harry framed themselves as victims while maintaining the visibility that keeps them in the headlines, a move the Lords call a self-inflicted public spectacle that drags the integrity of British titles through the mud. They contrast her behavior with lesser royals like Princess Alexandra, who have lived lives of quiet public service without once appearing in a Netflix show or podcast. The message is clear: you can't claim victimhood while building a media empire off a title you say is oppressive. The Lords also revisit the infamous 2021 Oprah Winfrey interview, where Meghan made allegations of racism within the royal family, refused to name names, and let the public assumption spiral into a meteor firestorm that painted the monarchy as inherently colonial and oppressive. The petition describes this as public incitement against the institution of the crown, launched under the protection of a privileged title. Meghan still held the title Duchess of Sussex while making these claims, a title granted by the sovereign that comes with responsibility, not a license for international character assassination. She didn't simply step back, she detonated on her way out. The petition reads, labeling her actions institutional sabotage. The House of Lords isn't operating in a vacuum. They're responding to a tidal wave of public frustration. According to a May 2025 YouGov poll, a staggering 77% of the British public believes Meghan should lose the title Duchess of Sussex, the highest anti-Sussex sentiment ever recorded, surpassing even the fallout from the Oprah interview. This isn't just a plurality, it's a landslide, with voters across political lines in rare agreement that titles are not fashion accessories. They carry meaning, duty, and constitutional weight. Even more telling, 61% of respondents think Harry should be stripped of his titles, particularly his HRH designation, though for now, the focus remains on Meghan, the lightning rod for controversy. Commercialism and institutional embarrassment. Public sentiment has been building for years, fueled by a sense that Meghan and Harry want to have it both ways: freedom from royal duties, but the prestige of royal titles. They've moved to America, they've got their house, their kids over there, said one respondent in a follow-up interview. They're not really part of our life. If they don't want to live it, then what's the point of keeping those titles? Another added, it would make what they're saying more authentic. You can't say the institution isn't for you and then cling to its titles. The Lords argue that the continued use of Duchess of Sussex by a private American citizen undermines the dignity of the British honor system. Meghan, who now lives in Montecito, stars in documentaries, and appears on red carpets alongside celebrities, is not someone representing the British people or the crown. The title is now a brand, a logo, a Netflix franchise. The petition states, calling it a mockery of noble rank, persistently monetized for personal gain in defiance of its ceremonial purpose. This isn't the first time the British monarchy has faced a crisis over titles, but it's certainly the most public. Historical parallels offer a sobering context. In 1917, during World War I, King George V issued the Royal Titles Act to strip German relatives of their British titles due to anti-German sentiment, a move that also established the modern framework. This act, still in effect today, forbids title holders from using their status for commercial or performative purposes, a principle the House of Lords now argues Meghan has violated repeatedly.